Hey guys, the DVD update here for another review on the Real DVD Watchers. This is TV Week and I thought I'd do something a little different, and I'm going to review the TV show Whale Wars from Animal Planet. If you've never heard of this show before, let me give you a little bit of background. It's on a channel here called Animal Planet, which is actually, it's a reality show. And Animal Planet, I actually watch a lot of shows on Animal Planet. They have some decent programming on there. I believe it's a Discovery Channel offshoot. Discovery Channel owns it. Whale Wars is a program on Animal Planet that follows the antics of the Sea Shepherd organization. Kind of a tongue twister there, but led by Paul Watson. A little bit of background for him. He was co-founder of Greenpeace, which we all know. But got kicked out because of the tactics that he liked to use, the guerrilla and pirate-like tactics he used against whalers, whalers, and people that killed seals and dolphins. So he went off and he created his own organization called Sea Shepherd, and like I said, they're animal activists that focus on not attacking, but preventing the slaughtering of animals, such as whales, which is in this case what the show is about, or dolphins, or seals, or any animal, really. You know, he uses tactics that Greenpeace basically wants to protest and say that it's wrong and go through governmental ways of trying to change the laws and things like that. He says that he doesn't want to protest because it really gets you nowhere. He's going to actually go out there and stop the whalers from whaling, and that's exactly what he does. There's 3 seasons so far, season 3 being the latest. I was going to go through over all of them, but I'll just do a quick thing because I don't think even 15 minutes will be enough to cover all 3 seasons. Season 1 is only 7 episodes, and I was in a hotel room at 5 a.m. and they had a marathon of it, and I watched it. And at first I didn't like it too much, but I did watch it anyway because there was nothing else on. And then later on, I would say 2 months ago or so, or a month ago, they started playing season 2 episodes, replaying season 2 episodes, getting ready for the season 3 premiere. Season 1 is only 7 episodes, and it follows the crew of the Steve Irwin, because Steve Irwin donated a S-ton of money to the Sea Shepherd organization, enough for them to buy a boat to go out and stop these whalers. And the way that they do this is they go out into the Antarctic Sea, which commercial whaling was banned in the 80s, but the Japanese whalers use a loophole that says that you can collect whales and kill them for scientific research. And the loophole is they do that saying that they're collecting tissue for scientific research. And also, it states that no part of the whale can go to waste, so therefore they're allowed to sell the whale meat, blubber, and harvest pretty much every part of the whale to be sold in the markets in Japan. So that's how they get around it. But since there is a ban on commercial whaling, Sea Shepherd sees it differently, that they're breaking the law, so they go out there and stop them. There's numerous ways. Once they find the fleet consists of 4 Japanese ships, or 5, I'm sorry, 3 harpoon ships, 1 mother ship, and or the factory ship, if you were, and 1 spotter ship. So they only have one. The Sea Shepherd organization only has 1 ship in season 1, and they're going up against all these other ships. The way that they go about this is they have 2 small boats which are really fast and can catch up to the harpoon boats to launch attacks. They also have a helicopter that can go way farther than the ship ever could, just to scout out to try to find them. That's one of the main problems, is finding the Japanese fleet in the huge Antarctic Ocean. Another thing about the mandate about the ban on commercial whaling says that the countries can choose their own limits. So the Japanese government has chosen that they are allowed to kill, this is governed by themselves, they choose the number, 900, almost 1,000 minke whales, and then a different, they also hunt another type of whale. And the main way that they attack these Japanese And the whaling industry in Japanese is multi-million dollars. I mean, a lot of money to be made. So the Japanese whalers will get kind of pissed, because if they even stop their whaling operation for a couple of days, that's like $1 million right there that they've lost. The way that they prevent the Japanese whalers from whaling is they throw butyric acid, which is basically just rotten butter, and when it gets on the deck, it pretty much smells the whole place up, and it makes you nauseous. So the Japanese workers can't work on the boat. They throw these powder things, which makes the deck of the ship slippery, and they also use they play games of chicken with the boats. They get the boat as close as they can to the other boat to try to freak them out, scare tactics, if you will. And there's been many collisions through the many seasons, that's for sure. So that's how they do it, basically. And they basically, if they find the mothership, is what I call it, or the factory ship, which processes the whale meat, they do it all on that ship. They cut open the whale. They already have it packaged in boxes at sea, so right when they get in port, it's go time. They get right up behind it so that they can't load the whales on and things like that. And so the first season is actually pretty good. It's 7 episodes. They don't attack too much with the whalers, because a lot of problems happen on the ship where they have to go back to port, wasting like 2 weeks to go back all the way to Australia and things like that. And that's another thing. The crew is all volunteers. Nobody gets paid. They're all activists, and you get a bunch of the same people coming back, reoccurring season after season, and you get to like some and not like some. There's actually only one person that I didn't like throughout the whole series, but he left during the middle of the second season, so it's all good. But they're from many countries: USA, Canada, Australia, Sweden, New Zealand, just a gambit across the board. And season 1 was actually pretty cool. There were men overboard, a boat capsized. They actually sent 2 people in a small boat to board the Japanese ship, which the Japanese then held hostage. So all this was done specifically to raise awareness about the Japanese whaling in the media. Season 2 was up to 11 episodes, and it's cool to see the improvements to the boat. They still only have 1 boat this season, and they get improvements. Like for the helicopter on the first one, it would just be parked on the back helicopter pad, just out in the open. They built this cool little multi-million-dollar shelter that pulls the helicopter in to protect it from the Japanese now having high-powered water cannons, which could easily take out their helicopter, which is a really good resource for them, so that can't happen. They also update some of the boat's defense mechanisms and whatnot. And we get a whole new, we get like 4 or 5 people that stay from the first season, but other than that, we get a whole new batch of volunteers, and everything is upped in this one. The Japanese up their game. They know what the Sea Shepherd is going to do now, so they put nets all over their boats to prevent the throwing of butyric acid and the powder bombs, as I called them. And they also added crazy things like LRAD, which is like a sound. It's like a big circle that you aim that can be directed at a single person, and it emits high-powered sound, which can make you feel nauseous, hurt your ears, even make you collapse if it's on the highest setting. So they brought that to the table. They also started throwing flashbang grenades at the activists. These are 45-minute episodes, or an hour block, 45 minutes if you take the commercials out. And it was overall a pretty good season. And this season they actually harpooned, you got to see a whale being harpooned, which has never happened in front of the Sea Shepherds. The whalers did it right in front of them. And it's very bloody. They harpoon it, it goes into the whale, obviously, and then they bring the whale close into the ship, and then they finish it off with a couple of rifle shots to the head region. And then it showed them doing the whole process, which is actually, just cutting them up on deck and then putting away the different parts and throwing away a whole bunch of stuff. And you see the blood. They have this little thing that collects all the blood and then shoots it back out into the water. It's actually quite gruesome. But they actually do that on camera, which the Japanese have never done before, because of they think it would bring bad press. But this season they didn't give a. They were just going to go on with their whaling however they could. But I do believe in conserving endangered species, and the Japanese are whaling minke whales, like I said, and if they keep doing this, then their population is definitely going to deplete. The second whale, which I can't remember the species of whale that they're talking about there, are already starting to be endangered, so it's only a matter of time before that happens, you know. So, you know, I don't always agree with all of his tactics, but they do work, and it is having some effect. They are stopping whaling in the Antarctic Ocean for whenever they're down there, and that's at least doing something. So, if you guys, I don't know where Animal Planet is in other countries, or if they even have this show in other countries, but it's definitely worth a check out, and it's a pretty entertaining reality show. So that's been my review of Whale Wars, kind of all 3 seasons. There were some spoilers in there, sorry, but most likely you've already seen it or you don't care to watch it. So this has been Matt here doing a review for the Real DVD Watchers TV Week, and as always, comment, rate, subscribe, do what you do, and I'll see you when I see you.
There is a battle going on in the Southern Ocean. Antarctica. The Sea Shepherds, an environmental organization led by Captain Paul Watson, are doing everything in their power to stop Japanese fishermen from killing whales. The Sea Shepherds say the whalers are violating an international ban on commercial whaling. The whalers say they are legally killing whales for scientific research. Both claim to have the law on their side. These are their battles. This is their war.